show it to you here, hold it in the light. It's just a white, crumbly powder. It tastes great in my opinion. It's a little strange at first. It's got a very fragrant smell, but it's very tasty. It's got a dairy flavor, of course. It's concentrated down because it's such a nutrient-dense food. It has that dense quality to it. You can feel the energy of it as you're consuming it. One more thing I'll say about the nutrient profile of colostrum is it actually has every nutrient that we need in it. So it has the mother, let's call it the parent component to every nutrient we need. So it has all the essential amino acids, has all the parent essential fatty acids. So I'm not going to say it has every single fatty acid, that's a lot, but it has, you know, omega-3, omega-6, arachidonic acid, many of these other fatty acids that are very rare in the sense that it's hard to get them all in our diet every single day. And if you're getting these doses of these parent essential fatty acids daily, and as well as nutrients, vitamins, minerals, etc., you're making sure that nothing is deficient on a day-to-day basis. So it's kind of like a multivitamin in that sense, but it's a whole food, so it's very highly absorbable. And the other benefit is that it increases the absorption of any other food you're taking because it has such a regenerative effect on the gut and the gut flora. So if you're into using these superfoods, herbs, etc., it's a great addition to enhance their absorption and utilization throughout your body. Colostrum, the biggest thing about it that people often ask me if they're coming from sort of a raw vegan or one or the other paradigm is whether it, you know, is this okay to consume if you're vegan? Well, you're technically not going to be vegan if you're consuming it, but how are the animals treated and what's sort of like the whole thing going on the level of the farm? So Dr. K, who provides the harvesting of the colostrum from upwards of several million cows across several states in the U.S., and that's the source for Survival's colostrum. They are very adamant about very high standards for the mother cows and the calves after they're born. They actually install maternity wards for the mothers to be, and they put all the cows on a very high level nutrient program so that they're getting all the nutrients they need. So that benefits the end product of the colostrum as well as the mother cow as well as the calf while it's gestating and soon going to be consuming the milk and the colostrum from that cow. So this is very great in terms of bringing in better ethical practices on the farm in general. So it's really hard to say this is damaging these animals, this is damaging farms, because you know it's improving the quality of the farm in general. If you're focusing on improving the overall lifestyle of the animals, it's only going to be a win-win-win situation for all involved. The next issue, of course, is going to be, does the baby cow, the calf, get enough or even get some colostrum from the mother? Well, it turns out that cows, unlike humans, need a certain amount of colostrum or they'll be very unstable health-wise and they will eventually die. So they definitely do get their share of the colostrum. In fact, they get as much as they need. So as soon as the calf is born, it's drinking some of the mother's milk because unlike humans who get a lot of our immune system functioning from our mothers in our womb, we can survive very well without our mother's colostrum. So colostrum is made by all mammals, I'll just say that, all milk lactating producing mammals. So a mother provides this to her offspring, and different animals have different qualities and amounts of nutrients and immune and growth factors in their colostrum. So because cows need to get so much and require so much from the colostrum, otherwise they don't develop at all, that means the colostrum is super potent. In fact, it's many hundreds of times more potent than human colostrum in certain qualities, because humans are born with the immune system intact with many of the growth factors, and they can survive even without the colostrum from human mothers. And once that calf has gotten its needed amount, which it gets in one sitting, then they're able to harvest a little bit more after that point. And the cow produces colostrum for 6 hours, then it turns into transitional milk and then to regular milk, which the calf continues to drink. But it's that 6-hour period that colostrum has to be harvested. And Dr. Kleinsmith's colostrum that he harvests has a certain protocol where they have to harvest it within that time period and collect it. and it's the only one on the market that meets that 6-hour standard of being harvested within that time frame. So after that, it's transitional milk, which is not anywhere near as potent as the true colostrum. So like I said, the calf gets plenty of it, and then it's harvested, and because it's from such a vast array of cows and mixed together as a powder, you're also getting the immune systems of all these different cows, or the immune modulating effects from all these different farms, and each cow has a unique immune system and what it can fight off because of the unique pathogens it encounters on each farm environment. So if you were to get it from just one cow and you were to get it fresh, which is great, if you have the opportunity to do that, definitely do that, but also including Rival's colostrum in your daily diet is going to allow you to get what those cows were fighting off in terms of immune boosting functions. And this sort of fear of harming or taking advantage of animals is a little bit outdated in my opinion. When you look at a cow, and really any farm animal for that instance, there's a very big array of different ways that they can be treated on different farm environments. So if you're looking at, you know, your average factory farm, dairy farm, it's really horrendous conditions, very cramped stalls, very low grade nutrition, they're not organic, they're being abused by the workers. It's really deplorable conditions. But when a farm is working properly, and I've worked on an organic farm before where all the animals are treated wonderfully. When you're talking about a dairy cow, it's going to have this life where it's being taken care of, being fed, it's being kept away from danger. That's a great life for it, and in exchange it's basically providing dairy for the farmer to sell. It's quite a good exchange in that regard. Of course, did the cow choose to live this way? No. But a cow also can't survive in the wild, so we can't exactly just set all the farm animals free. And are we going to just suddenly stop farming and let all these species that are created die out? That's a little weird as well to consider sort of that paradigm. So it's like, are we going to use these animals in a very sustainable, conscientious, symbiotic way, or are we going to be more of a parasite on them, which is sort of the factory farm paradigm, which is horrible. And even organic farms can be parasite-like in terms of animal abuse and other things. It's not relegated to just factory farms, that's for sure. But when it's done sustainably, you know, the animals are taken care of and fed properly, the nutrients and foods they're meant to eat, then you're looking at a wonderful partnership between humans and a symbiotic animal. For instance, this instance, it can be a cow, it could be a chicken for its eggs, or it can be the bacteria living within our body. The bacteria in our body is a living thing, but we're not saying we're taking advantage of the bacteria because it produces, you know, B12 in our gut for us, or B vitamins. We're not taking advantage of the bacteria. We're giving it a home, we're protecting it from foreign invaders, and in return it provides us with certain things. So that one last concern that some people have with colostrum, and specifically IGF-1 and other growth factors within colostrum, is the effect it possibly might have on cancer. I think this is a little bit over-exaggerated, or perhaps it's a bit of fear-mongering, because first of all we have to remember that if your IGF-1 levels are going out of control, you're going to be growing larger and larger. So to say IGF-1 levels that are out of whack are the cause of proliferating cancer cells means that the person is going to be growing voraciously. But what we see in people with cancer is actually that they're becoming emaciated, very thin, due to chemo. But even with someone without chemo, they're going to start wasting away. Anyone I've seen that has had cancer does lose weight, no matter what happens. It's not something where you start growing muscle mass, getting healthy, tight skin, generally getting an effect of anti-aging on the body. So if we were to suppose that cancer is related to high IGF-1 levels, we would be sort of looking at things the wrong way around. Much the same way if you were to think about a cold and looking at the white blood cell count, and if you were to take a blood sample from someone who has a cold and you see an elevated white blood cell count and you see that all the time with someone who has a cold, you might start to think, without any scientific background, and just seeing that fact right there, that perhaps the white blood cell count is the cause of the cold, the high white blood cell count. But in reality, that's actually the body's natural response to a foreign invader, this pathogen being in the body, and your body having to fight it off. So much in the same way, when a cancer that's growing out of control within the body is wreaking havoc and causing us to emaciate away and become thin and fragile and more prone to dying, IGF-1 levels increase because it's such a powerful, rejuvenating, and youthening hormone. There is an immune modulating effect from IGF-1 as well, so that's also going to help fight the cancer. So I don't see how we can say this one thing causes cancer, yet at the same time it's boosting the immune system to fight the cancer. That doesn't make sense in terms of just a sort of intuitive point of view, and it doesn't make sense from the scientific point of view when we consider that IGF-1 levels increase in response to cancer cells within the body that are quite well developed. So there is also research that connects synthetic IGF-1 intake through injections or whatever other means to actually increase cancer rates. And the same thing with any anabolic steroid, which isn't identical to the natural compounds. So for example, certain anabolic steroids are mimicking testosterone in the body, yet they have one molecule removed. So it still has the testosterone effects of building body tissue and tightening the skin, but it makes your testicles shrink for men, and it causes your penis to shrink. Yet testosterone in its whole form that our body makes and that certain other foods increase our body's natural production of won't have that effect of shrinking your genitalia because it's a whole natural thing. It's going to be having the full effect with very little to no side effects. So natural IGF-1 is the way to go from colostrum. There are very few people that have a true milk allergy, like I said, and if you do have one of those, that's the only reason you would have a severe negative reaction to colostrum. That being said, use it wisely at first, take it in small doses, and increase it over time. We have to remember that many foods that we consume contain phytohormones and properties that increase hormones within our body, whether it's certain types of fruits, certain types of greens, certain types of animal products, certain types of nuts or seeds, certain types of beans. There are plant sterols throughout the whole plant kingdom. There are hormones within, or at least talking about natural hormones, not injected synthetic hormones from pharmaceutical companies into farm livestock, but the ones that are naturally within colostrum, the ones that are within deer antler velvet, within animals' glands. These things are, again, in their natural form and have been used medicinally for years. In some cases they're so potent that we would want to use them carefully and under professional guidance, but colostrum is something that can be consumed quite readily in large or even small amounts and have great effects on the body. And consuming growth factors is not something that we need to fear because they have such a beneficial effect. We shouldn't be afraid of cancer or other out-of-control diseases that have a lot of stigma attached to them. So one last quick thing I'm going to mention is that some people are lactose intolerant and they're wondering if they can consume colostrum. Well, first of all, they're taking very small amounts. So some people who have very severe dairy allergies will even react to that much. So if you don't react to a small amount of milk, you probably won't react to the colostrum. But colostrum has that added digestive system rehabilitating effect, so it can actually reverse that lactose intolerance for many people. Lactose intolerance isn't a true allergy. It's actually, like it says, an intolerance, and it's very much something that can be overcome. And one of those things, or issues, is the consumption of pasteurized milk versus raw milk. So lactase is an enzyme that digests lactose in milk, and when you're pasteurizing that product, you're losing the lactase enzyme, which is needed to digest lactose for most people. So anyone consuming pasteurized dairy is going to feel a difference when they go over to raw milk. And with colostrum, it has, well, first of all, you're consuming a much smaller amount of it unless you're wanting to consume very large quantities of it, which is perfectly fine. But to start off, I'd always recommend going very small on the dosage and upping it accordingly, how your body responds. And you might find you're able to knock out or even push back that level at which the lactose intolerance comes into play. And when you add in things like raw milk, as opposed to pasteurized milk, and make sure it's from a grass-fed, less hybridized type of cow, you're going to experience great benefits. So with that being said, check out this product, read my article below, and embrace life without limits.